Regan's Corner fans into here in Regan's Corner land. Next stop, we have a great interview with one of the best soccer players in the WAC conference, Isabella Stewart, for you from Utah Valley. Isabella, how's it going? How's it popping? And how is it going for you, girl?
It's going great, just been at school and then we're traveling to Portland tomorrow, so got a lot of fun things going on right now.
Absolutely. I mean, you just got a calculus class and you're
Yes.
talking about to talk about your story. I mean, it's about to be fun up in here, you know what I'm saying? But how did you
Yes.
start in soccer?
Oh man, I will have to credit that to my dad. So actually, he served a mission for our church, and he was over in Italy, and he didn't even really know about soccer until he went over there, and he was there when the World Cup was going on in Italy, and so he fell in love with soccer, and so me being the first kid of the family, he's like, okay, I'm sticking a soccer ball at her feet, and she better run with it, and luckily I did. I started when I was like 3 years old, I believe. I had no idea what I was doing, obviously. But and my mom tells me that I was like, Mom, when's it my turn with the ball? Like, I just did not get it yet, but I loved it and stuck with it. And, my dad kind of saw that I really loved it. And so he's like, okay, like, let's move you into rec. So started just doing rec soccer and just playing for fun. And I loved duking people and scoring goals. And I was like, this is really fun. And my dad's like, well, what do you want to do with soccer? Like, how serious are you about it? I'm like, oh, I want to play for the national team, Dad. I want to play for the national team. He's like, okay, like, that's going to be a lot of work. So after rec, he's like, okay, well, she needs to get on the club team. So I started playing for a club down in Arizona. I'm from Arizona. They're called FC Barcelona Total Football Club, and they kind of based their style of play off of like the big club in FC Barcelona. And so they kind of like were a lot of possession style, very technical. And so I started playing there, and I would kind of alternate in years. One year I'd play with the girls team, and then another year I'd play with the boys team. So I kind of was playing with both teams, and it was really good to get the different styles of soccer because girls are a little bit different with playing.
But let's get into the kind of your club scene and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so as I was talking about, I was kind of bouncing between playing with a girls' team and a boys' team, just because my dad, he was kind of with me every step of the way, and so he really saw like the value of playing with girls and guys, and it's just different experiences, and so it gave me different tools and different tactics as I was going through that. And so I was playing with FC Barcelona, the football club there, and they ended up breaking up and joining different clubs. And so then that kind of got a little bit crazy for me. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, where should I go? Who should I follow? Should I go with the boys' team coach or with the girls' team coach? Because they both went to different clubs. And so I was kind of conflicted at that point. And so I decided to go with my girls' team coach, and I was playing with them. And at that point in time, the team just wasn't the same. And I was kind of at this point um, losing my love for soccer. I kind of went through like a burnout phase, I would say. And it was probably around anywhere from age 15 to about 16, which is not very good for a soccer player because around that age, that's when you're getting heavily recruited. And you kind of need to be pushing on the gas at that point. And so at this point, I was kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm taking a step back from the club that I'm playing with in Arizona. I'm going to be training with my dad on my own. And we're going to see if I still really love the game and have the same drive and passion for it. And so it took me about maybe a couple months, and my dad kind of suggested that I maybe try to guest play with a team over in California. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the player Ashley Hatch, but she's played on the national team, and then she also plays in the NWSL. She's doing very well, and so she played with the club in California, and we were family friends with them. They had moved to Arizona, and they got us in touch with this club called Legends FC in California. And so my dad was like, listen, like, you don't have to go crazy, but why don't you just try guest playing with them like every so often? And I was like, okay. I might as well. I mean, I still loved soccer, but it wasn't like I had this drive to maybe go play college or to maybe play professional at all. So, because, like, okay, like, let's do that. And so I started guest playing with them, and I entered into my junior year. And at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? I can't see myself like not playing soccer. Like, I need to put the gas on and like go back and train super hard. And I really want to look at colleges. And meanwhile, colleges were still reaching out to me. They were maybe D2, D3, um, kind of schools that I was just like not super interested in. But I was like, oh, you know what? We're going to keep playing and see what turns up. And so I started working hard again and playing a lot of games with
Mhm.
still the team in California, which was great because California has a very high level of play for soccer. So I was playing with them for a while, and all of a sudden, COVID hit. And that threw a huge wrench in my plans. And with, I mean, plenty of players across, America and everywhere, it kind of put everything at a halt. And so that was really tough for me to have to keep training and not playing with my team at all and just training with my dad and having to keep working hard with like maybe no end in sight with COVID and being like, well, maybe my dreams of playing college soccer won't happen at all. And so it was really hard to stay motivated at that point, but I kept working and kept pushing. And eventually, senior year came around, and college coaches couldn't really see you come play. But we were able to play games at that point, so I was getting game film and trying to sending it out to coaches. And our college coordinator at Legends, he ended up sending my film to Chris LeMay, which is our head coach here at Utah Valley, and he saw the film. He called me up. At first he texted me, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I saw your film. Like, I want to give you a call. Let me know when works for you." And when I first saw that text, I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, Utah Valley, like a D1 school, a school that I'm like super interested in. And I was like, "Okay, like this is it." And I had other D1 schools reach out to me to come to camps and things, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. And so Utah Valley was like the first school that I was like super interested in. So I gave him a call, and we kind of just talked basics. And then I talked with my parents, and we called two more times. And after that, I committed to come to play at UVU. And then ever since then, I've been here and I've been loving it. So,
Absolutely. So, kind of talking about the mental aspect of soccer and
yeah.
stuff like that, you said you kind of were burnt out a little bit. Did
Hmm.
actually, this might sound a little bit bad, but did COVID actually help you with your motivation towards a little bit more?
I think it did because, there's the saying where it's like you don't realize what you have until you lose it. And for me, I was kind of like, okay, like, and before COVID, I kind of had made that decision, like, okay, let's do this. And then COVID, I think, intensified that even more because I was like, oh, I can't go practice with my team anymore. Like, I can't play games right now. Like, I realized how much I truly loved the game. And the mental part of soccer is for sure a bigger part than you would realize, and I've definitely come to realize that even in the college level it's been challenging to kind of deal with that too. But yeah, for sure, I think COVID definitely kind of pushed me in the right direction of wanting to play college. So
I mean, just kind of think about your sport just from a kind of graphical whatever.
right.
You're running miles
Oh
and
yeah.
miles.
Oh yeah.
So, if you're not in love with that sport, then it's gonna be hard.
Yes, for sure. No, it's a tough sport for sure. A lot of running. I wouldn't be doing. I can't. I've always told people I could not do cross country. I have to have a ball at my feet to do that amount of running. So.
Absolutely. So, kind of getting into the Utah state and stuff like that with the
Mhm.
recruitment process. So, when it was like the first time you knew this was my place when you were on the campus?
So I got recruited very, very late because of COVID and also my burnout. So I didn't ever come see the campus until after I graduated senior year. So I came like June, and usually players will come in like middle of July to start training for everything. And so I was like, okay, like let's get like a campus tour set up. And so I came up with my dad, and we went and met with my head coach, and he took us all around campus and met some of the players. And
Mhm.
as soon as like I walked on campus and kind of just got a feel for it, I was like, this place is perfect, and it's meant for me. And I held up for good reason. So I walked up and I saw everything. And the nice thing about UVU is Utah gets snow, obviously, in the winter, and I wasn't used to
Right.
that in Arizona. Like, I'm not a snow person. But it was super nice because Utah Valley's campus is like has the option where if you needed to stay indoors the whole time, you can. And so it's really nice. But the campus is super pretty. It's modern, but it's also like kind of still has like a little bit of old to it. And our game field is absolutely beautiful. Like they keep it very nice and good. So I don't know, just walking here and then meeting the players and then meeting everyone eventually when I first came to camp in the summer before season started. I just knew it was the place for me. It was perfect. So
Absolutely. So, kind of talking about your freshman year here,
yeah,
what was kind of adjustments you had from club soccer to Division One soccer?
yeah, there was definitely a few. Last freshman year, I would say I really struggled. And going back to that mental aspect, it was more so of the fact that I was just so in my head about performing and not making a mistake and trying to impress the coaches. And so that's something that I really had to push through freshman year, and that I didn't really get through until really the end of my freshman year. And summer, I really worked this last summer on just being confident on the ball and trusting my abilities and also taking in what my coaches are saying, but just trusting in myself. And that's really changed the trajectory of how I've been playing and everything this sophomore year. But yeah, I really had to take in the fact that it's definitely kind of more of like a job. They're looking for players to get them results because, as a head coach, you need to be doing well and be pushing your team in the right direction. And you're getting funding from the school now, so it's definitely a big responsibility for the head coach. But I would say also the fact that you are not going to be playing as much as you're used to in club. That was a change for me. Usually, I mean, some freshmen can come in and just make a big impact and be playing a lot. But a lot of the time, freshmen are kind of trying to come into the program and deal with the mental aspect and kind of figure out how the team works, kind of bond with other teammates and grow in that way. And so at first, you're not going to get a lot of playing time. Last year, I was the only freshman to play at all, and it was maybe limited like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. The most I got, I think, was 20 minutes. And so that really takes a lot to your self esteem, when you've come from playing club and being one of the best players and playing a bunch, and then coming to a program and wanting to do better and wanting to play a lot, and you don't get it. And so I think it came down to me just being like, okay, put in the hard work, keep trusting in the work that you're doing and working on your film and tactics as well as like doing everything I could to put myself in the right positions and learning and just knowing that time will help me get there. So yeah, that was I think a lot of the adjustments that I had to make, and then also balancing with school as well because it was definitely a lot more um, homework and workload than I was expecting. I wasn't used to that in high school, so
I mean, when you're taking calculus, you
yeah.
gotta expect as much as you can get.
Yeah.
But kind of looking at your stats from freshman to now your
Hmm.
sophomore year, you could see a huge improvement just this year alone. Um,
Yes.
so, what is it like scoring your first goal this year?
Oh my goodness. It was one of the best moments in my whole entire life. I remember I'm gonna probably remember that moment for the rest of my life, but um it's just so amazing to see that all the hard work you put in is paying off. And honestly, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, I just scored like me. Like I was the person like cheering on my teammates and so happy for our team that we were scoring and doing other things like that. But you yourself, when you get to score the goal, it's the best feeling. And I'll remember always it was like raining and the ball came across at the top of the box. And I was maybe about like 30 yards out and I just shot it low and hard to the near post. And it went in. And I just like looked and turned to one of my teammates, one of my good friends, Maddie. And I just turned and I was just like cheering and super excited. And so it was a great moment and definitely one that I will never forget.
Absolutely, sounds like it. But it's kind of going through everything. What was the training like? What was the off season like from
Yeah.
freshman to sophomore year?
Yeah, I mean, freshman year I definitely worked hard, but I think after playing a season, you can kind of really hone in on what the differences are from, going from high school and club to college. And so you kind of really have to refine your game a lot more. And so what I kind of did is I still kept up my training. I was doing a lot of sprinting and endurance running. I was also doing weightlifting, particularly Olympic weightlifting. So I did a lot of that along the strength component there. I also really focused on tactical training because for me, I feel like as a player, I have a lot of the speed and, I'm very fit. And technical, but my tactical skills, I don't think were exactly where they were supposed to be. And I was needing to maybe spend a little bit more time studying the game. And so I kind of really studied the different formations that you play in soccer, the strengths, the weaknesses, watching people at my position, taking notes, and looking at how UVU specifically plays and how I can develop more strengths and develop more of the skills and things that my coach was looking for. So I definitely went in there. And then I also played with a semi pro team back home in Arizona to further develop my skills, just get more time on the ball, be confident. And I think that really helped me make that big jump is just having playing time and being in the game. And not my coach is very intense. He likes to yell because he sees the potential and he knows what he wants. And so sometimes as a freshman, when you feel your coach yelling at you all the time, you think, oh my goodness, like they hate me and like, oh my gosh, like I'm not doing the right thing. But he's just trying to guide me in the right direction, and it was because he cared. But for me to be in a different environment and get more playing time on the ball and develop my skills and be confident and play different positions and different systems, it was able to, I think, open my eyes and help me develop in a lot of different ways. And so this summer I think was definitely huge for me, and my coaches definitely noticed it coming in, training before season started. So
I mean, it was quite a whistle of a program that you were in,
yeah,
and it sounds like a little bit of a Boulder situation over there in
yeah.
Utah. But uh, what was it like playing in semi-pro kind of stuff there, and kind of going through and playing against one the best players uh, in the country from different
Right.
programs in Division One?
Yeah, no, it was a definitely great experience. And I got to play with some people that I'm one of my teammates went to LSU, one of them's at Wisconsin, and so it's just great to play with different people at different programs because playing within your team you only get a certain amount of people that you play with all the time, and so playing with different players, helping elevate your games in different ways and helping you develop different skills that way was great. And facing opponents that were also still at a high level is very important to keep your skills up. And so I think we went and played a team over in California. I believe they were called LAFC, and they had some people that were playing with the national team that were younger, but they were very good. And so that team, it really forces you to focus, to really push yourself to the limits
Mhm.
physically and also mentally, just staying engaged and staying focused. And so I think that was very important for me to play at a high level and get experience at a high level, keeping my skills up and working as I did. Yeah, it's invaluable. You can't really get that from just watching films. So that experience was awesome.
Absolutely. And we kind of talked about it a little bit off camera, but I'm sure with your guys' season way it's at 5 and
Hmm.
1 with 3 ties, you're
Yeah.
probably excited for the West Coast Conference tournament here.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah, no. I love our head coach. He makes sure that our preseason before our actual conference play starts, that we play high level teams so that when we come into our conference, not necessarily it's easier, but we know that we've played higher level teams and that we can face the people in our conference. And so having our only loss be to Alabama this season is really amazing. And tying another top 25 ranked team and then beating a top 25 ranked team, BYU, that was incredible. So yeah, no, we are very happy with how preseason went, and we're hoping to continue that and grow upon that in conference play. So we've already had our first 2 games, and we're still doing well. We have a win and a tie, and so we're hoping to keep the good momentum going and keep growing upon it and pushing ourselves even harder.
Absolutely. So we have this last segment called the hot corner.
Okay.
Okay, so we get to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
Uh, which I don't know why that was a tongue twister. I've said that so many different times, but Isabella, what is your favorite all-time go-to food?
Food. Oh my goodness. Um, I would say I'd say I always get a Chipotle burrito. I feel like that is my happy food. I really love getting a burrito. It has steak, white rice, and then I get pico, guac, cheese, and lettuce and black beans. That'll make me happy. And there's also this restaurant here in Utah called Aubergine, and I love getting their tri-tip Madeira bowl. It is those two things are one of my favorites. I love them.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So what is your like playlist going into a game?
Ooh, we got a little bit of Drake in there, a little bit of The Weekend. I don't know, just pump up high level songs. I don't know, something that has a good beat. Really, I'm one of the people on the team that like if I hear any kind of song, I'm the person that's dancing to it, no matter what it is. Even elevator music, I find myself dancing. But definitely high level, with the good beat songs. Anything that has a good beat, I'm getting down to it and I'm getting ready to go. But I have one song that I like to visualize too. It's called "Let's Get Down to Business," and I just like to close my eyes and just focus and just really feel the beat and just get concentrated there. So.
Absolutely. What's your favorite TikTok dance?
Oh my goodness. There's too many. Man, I do like going on TikTok and just having fun and making fun like little vlogs or stuff with our travel and that's hard. I don't know. I don't know if I can say I have one. I love doing little TikTok dances when I'm with home with my family and stuff. We did like I don't know what it's called, but it was one with more of like a Spanish music to the background. It was just kind of fun. So I don't know. That wasn't much help, but I like all of TikTok.
Hey, you could have said any name and I would have been like, "Yep,
You'd be like, oh yeah, for sure.
for sure." But what is like your favorite all-time sports movie?
Sports movie. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to remember the one with the football players. What is it called? It's the one where the one guy he gets in a car accident and he can't play, but it's football and they have like the left side, strong side. I'm trying to remember. It's like an older one. It's like a football movie, but it's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, this is gonna kill me that I can't remember the name. But yeah, no, it's a football movie. We watched it with my family all the time. So I love that one. I'll try to remember the name, but it's blanking at the moment.
Hey, don't feel bad. I've had a couple interviews where they're like, "Remember the Titans is my favorite movie," but
Yes, that's it.
could not remember the name of it.
That is it.
So
I
don't
am like I could just drive the whole movie and not even know the title. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
hey, don't feel bad. We had a couple athletes from the local high school that did the same exact thing, and then we had a
Oh my
couple Division
gosh.
1 athletes that did the exact same thing on here.
Okay,
So,
I'm not alone.
no, you're not. Let's see here. What is one of your superstitions before a soccer match?
Okay, I have a couple. So in our we have like our little place where we get like our socks and cleats on. It's like this little tent by our fields that we all go sit at. I have to sit in the same chair every time when I come in when I get before warm up. I have to sit in the same chair. And then also when we warm up, we do this like we warm up on the sideline and we all line up and we run out to cones. I have to be in the same general spot for warm up, so I have to be there. And then same thing with also the warm up. I have to be in the same grid. When we do a passing drill, there's two different like grids that we do passing drills in to warm up. I have to be in the same grid and in the same cone every time. So those are kind of funny, but that's my thing.
Okay, okay. Same cone, same chair. Okay.
Yes.
So, quick question about the chair. So,
Yes.
how do you know it's the same chair? So, do you mark it down?
No, I mean, we kind of have it sitting in like an arc, and it's just on the back wall, and then there's two players that usually show up maybe like a couple minutes before me, and so they're usually sitting there, and I sit right in between them, and so I know exactly where it is, and I go sit down right there.
But absolutely. It's always a pleasure having an athlete of your caliber on here. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on
Of
and
course.
welcome to Regan's Corner Sports Athletes. Uh, and hopefully we could talk some other time, maybe even in person down the road. But Indiana, Utah is pretty far. Um, but anyway, stay froggy, my friend.
Will do.
Okay.